Bahay na natitiklop. Yan ang sagot ng Bl+Rp sa pangangailangan ng mga kababayan nating nasalanta ng bagyong Yolanda. Ang Butterfly Homes ay brainchild ng mga Pilipinong sina Rogelio Santos Jr. at Architect Royal Pineda.
The Butterfly House actually came from a little bit of frustration and some experience in understanding the responses that have been here in the past for housing, especially when it came to floods, to earthquakes, to especially Yolanda. One of the things that I realized was there are a lot of NGOs and a lot of organizations responding to housing in the Philippines. But one of the challenges was we are faced with an unprecedented scenario. We're talking about 4 million homeless, and to impact out of the 1.1 million homes, just 100,000 houses, we're talking about a scenario where they've never actually faced having to build that many homes this fast. And so we've seen scenarios like in Pablo or in the Bohol earthquake where up to today, we're still responding, just trying to find a solution for housing. But one of the challenges that I noticed was our initial response was to build bunkhouses or to try to build local villages in the area, throw materials at the problem. Those are reactive to the scenario, but at the same time, they're very slow to respond, in my opinion, right? So we came up with an idea. I had an idea around December to come up with a housing solution where how do we solve the problem of producing as many houses as fast as possible, but at the same time, a scenario where we can respond right away to any disaster. So we came up with a folding steel house. I basically came up with this idea December 20th. I remember the day because it was very fresh in my mind. Went pen to paper, got my computer out, and started making models. And I went to a small lumber yard in Angono, Rizal, and hired a bunch of guys, and we just started inventing this thing, started making this structure. The idea was to see if we can actually first prove a point. Can I create a house that was cheap, cost-effective, yet quick to deploy? And the result is actually this butterfly house system. And so that's really what it's about. It's a folding house that allows us to have a response-ready scenario where we can have houses on inventory for any response, and where you don't have to actually build a brand new temporary site in response to every disaster in the future. You have a scenario where we can adapt our approach and say, oh, another disaster happens in a location that was unexpected, deploy units there instantaneously.
Bl+Rp Royal is, of course, we're proponents of modern architecture and design in the Philippines. We're promoting our approach globally. We're doing this to not just promote our sensibilities, but to constantly promote the country in doing such sensibility of technology, architecture, and design. Doing this total approach of modern architecture and design is actually towards uplifting the lifestyle of the Filipinos. In relationship to the Butterfly Homes, we've been constantly searching to improve all these disaster cases and how do we respond to that. And as architects and designers, we believe that we can contribute, and we found a partner who can also relate to the heart, not just to the mind, but also to the heart of our vision. The concept, as a visionary too, I can see something that can actually happen and it will fly as a concept. But of course, that is where we feel as experts on our architecture and design, having the specialization on that, we said this product can make it. And we would like to help and contribute in doing it. So again, collaboration is the key. And what is the goal? The goal is to create something for the Filipinos. When this concept arrived and Vons explained it to us, of course, it's very conceptual. It was a prototype. And Vons was able to somehow give us the history of the product. I would say they were in the very preliminary stage. That's where, as a visionary, you can see it done. You can see its future. So when I saw this, and I saw the initial of Vons, I'm seeing something even better. It needed the concept of Vons to trigger. And now it needs to collaborate with different minds, not just us. We're bringing in all the people, Filipinos, who has the heart to help and create this product. We're now talking to a good engineering team, good construction team, to formulate this product for the Philippines. This butterfly house, try to remember it now, because it's gonna be like the plane. You can imagine the old plane when the Wright brothers created it. This will evolve. In the development, we are actually using steel, definitely. There's an option of working on aluminum also. But right now, the technology that we're working with is basically steel, but we are customizing all the gauge of the steel. We are actually having the steel produced. These steel are not commercially available. These are extruded according to the strength that every member of the steel needs. So imagine one steel has its own defined strength to make the whole unit efficient.
It's called the butterfly house because it opens like a butterfly. And there's a number of butterfly Philippine-related things. You know, Jose Rizal was very much into butterflies. Sent 165 butterflies to Dapitan at one point as part of his cultural exchange. We have butterfly dresses for our traditional wear. And so I felt that the butterfly really connected with the Philippine culture. And this house is made in the Philippines. It's a Philippine, I'm a Filipino, and it's a very much adaptation and evolution to the Philippine scenario. So I wanted to make it fun, airy, and at the same time, it opens like a butterfly, it's light in cost like a butterfly, and it's quick to deploy to where it's got to go. In fact, by working with these agencies, they're picking up costs for transportation and logistics. The reality is, with 1.1 million homes damaged or destroyed, I personally won't feel the impact unless I know that we can actually reach 100,000 families with this project.
Thanks for watching this episode of Homebase. I'll see you next week.